Today, we watched somebody who has been open about struggling with mental health get dragged through the mud on social media, mocked and insulted because his back pain is preventing him from playing in a basketball game. Ben Simmons doesn't seem to have too many supporters right now, and I want to offer a different perspective on this whole situation to maybe change the way we think about it. The first thing I want you to consider is, do you think Ben Simmons is happy right now? Do you think he's having a good day with all of this stuff going on social media? The way I see this, there are really two, or technically three, possible scenarios for what is really going on here. The first scenario is that his back pain is 100% real. Ben Simmons, we know, has been dealing with a back injury in the past, and things were supposedly bad enough that he was willing to undergo a procedure to have a needle inserted into his spine, an epidural, to try and help control his pain. And so one scenario is, as his activity ramped up on the court, he truly did wake up this morning with back pain that limited him from moving and being effective on the court. If that's the case, then shame on everybody who's mocking him on social media, because the last thing we want to do is push our athletes to come back too early when they're not healthy, because we've seen how that can happen in the past and have a bad outcome. The second scenario that seems to be more prevalent on social media is that this is all tied up in Ben Simmons' mental health, that he somehow is a quitter. He's not mentally strong enough. He doesn't really want to play. He's basically just giving up, and he's being called soft and weak. I've refrained from commenting on that whole side of the story ever since it came up because, to be frank, I didn't really know exactly what to say and how to approach that difficult topic. But now I do think I have something to contribute. Whenever we try to give our opinion, as improper as that might be, on somebody's mental health, I think we really have to take what they say at face value. We don't really know what's going on in terms of how much somebody is making something up versus how legitimate it is, and the last thing we want to do is err on the side of not taking those concerns seriously. But what I realize now with all of these stories is that whenever people do anything, good or bad, they're doing it for a reason. If somebody is making up mental health claims, then again, ask yourself why, because the true reason is probably something in and of itself they need help with. If you're of the belief that he's soft, or this is not a real back injury and it's entirely his mental health, or he's making this up, number one, what good does it actually do for that individual to just continue to mock and insult them on social media if you truly want to help that person? And number two, who are you or who am I to pass any sort of judgment on what somebody says as authentic or false? Back injury or not, Ben Simmons feels the way that he feels for a reason, and us questioning or insulting those reasons do nothing to actually help him and help progress this whole situation. The third scenario, and what's honestly probably more realistic, is that it's some combination of the two. In the medical world, we know there is a connection between mind and body in terms of how your mind perceives pain and what's actually going on in your body, and you can't argue that there's at least going to be some component of mental readiness with as long of an absence in everything that Simmons has gone through. You combine that with a lingering back injury that's flared up as he's tried to increase his activity, and it's very plausible that that's the scenario as well. But if people are truly concerned about his well-being and want to help him, then mocking him on social media is not the way to do this. The way to do this is to ask the question about why he is doing the things he's doing. The easy thing to do here is to keep making fun of him and insulting him. The hard thing to do is to actually try to uncover what the root of all this is. The why behind why people do things. For everybody who says, well, we're upset because he's getting paid all this money, but he's not actually playing, number one, why do you care? It's not actually your money. And if you're upset about the whole arbitration thing with trying to reclaim his salary, I can probably guess that if you were in that same situation, you would ask the question and see if you could get your money as well. Bottom line is, myself and everybody listening doesn't actually know how much of scenario one and scenario two are playing into this overall conversation. But what we do all know is that continuing to mock and insult somebody who has admitted to dealing with mental health struggles does nothing to actually help their mental well-being. It's okay to be upset if you're a sports fan. I totally understand that. But what I would encourage people to do here is to swing that pendulum a little bit to the other side of being a little bit more supportive of our athletes in this situation. Ask the why. People do things for a reason. And what's important and what we can really help with is the reason behind those decisions, not necessarily those decisions themselves. That's it for the video, everybody. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.